anytime someone is in front of you in a traffic jam, correct procedure is to reverse just a little. Maneuver ever so gently back in front of them. Then park diagonally to block their way. Get out for a word of friendship. Tap their window amicably. And continue to church.
Every day, more and more road users are filming their journeys, which can often end in disaster. Pioneered by motorists in Russia and Eastern Europe, dashboard-mounted cameras are constantly recording our behavior on the roads. From the bizarre, to the ridiculous, the funny, to the downright dangerous. The thousands and thousands of dashcams around the world have captured just about every mishap you can think of. Now we're going to delve into this treasure trove of stupidity on the roads. Put things right by pointing the finger of blame. Replay the action to see what really happened. And of course, there's nothing like seeing other people's mistakes when it comes to helping us become better drivers. And please remember, on all the clips, yes, that's all the clips we show, no one, and that means no one, is seriously hurt. So drive safely. Not everyone is this lucky. Coming up on this episode of Car Crash TV, a vehicular spectacular from the roads around the world that, had it happened in Britain, would have resulted in the totally flagrant contraventions of our commendable highway code. Article 170. You should not assume when waiting at a junction that a vehicle coming from the right and signaling left will actually turn. Wait and make sure, you cretin. Article 180. Take care when turning into a main road. You will need to watch for traffic in both directions and wait for a safe gap. Trat. The one about it being advisable to make a decision about which way to turn before you run out of road. Gormless buffoon. And a little snapshot from my international modeling career. Look how I rock those jeans. Not the first time there's been an accident with my backside. Is your life at a crossroads? Do you feel like a change of direction? Well, don't watch Car Crash TV then, you time-wasting TV-aholics. Because all we're doing is looking at a bunch of intersection idiots. The problem with buying your sat-nav at an antique shop is that since Napoleonic times, the road system might have subtly changed, as this would-be David Dickinson found out. Next time, go to Halfords, mate. Other stores are available. Kindness at an intersection really doesn't cost a thing. Impatience, however, well, looking at that mess, I'd say it's the best part of $1,000. Spring in the city means only one thing: mating season. Look how this hatchback tries to mount the saloon car and instigate a coupling. Like a passion-crazed buffalo, he just couldn't get in there fast enough, could he? They were going to film the Magnificent Seven in this cowboy town until some idiot went and built a whacking great skyscraper on top of the sheriff's house. So now they're having to stage showdowns in family hatchbacks instead. It's just not the same. This car drags a large yellow box around behind it to give other cars clear guidance as to how to crash into it. And look, it works too. Over the line and impact. Great tool. Let's deconstruct this clip, shall we? There's the intersection. There's the idiot. And out of that white car will emerge a very angry man who's just been intersected into a great big metal post. In this idiotic intersection, the town planners got bored with road markings, so they left the whole junction freestyle. I think it worked. A pedestrian at an intersection. She can't be the idiot. Hang on, what are you Snapchatting about? Is it really more interesting than an articulated lorry shunting a hatchback sideways along the highway, and this woman with the buggy is so unbothered she doesn't even break her stride? These idiots all spotted each other on the intersection and decided to convene for an impromptu meeting about it. In fact, the only way to avoid intersection idiots is to drive on roads which don't have any intersections. It's working perfectly here. Lovely bright day, snow on the ground, rustic style home. It's all good until we reach the intersection and the idiots come crashing back into the game. It's time now to head across the pond and take in the latest round of the simple American sport that we've decided to adopt as our own. Mainly because unlike football and rugby, we can actually afford the rights. Yes, our American friends have turned driving in a circle into an art form of sorts. But we've gone one better by turning it into an art form with added impact. So, grab a hot dog and settle in. It's Stock Car Collisions! We start today in snowy Salt Lake City, and up ahead is local hero Deshaun Baxter. When he's not competing in stock car collisions, he drives the local gritter. However, this morning, after a heavy night on the hooch, he called in sick and went out racing. Those cocktails had an impact, though. Just 12 seconds for Deshaun. It's fall in New York's Catskill Mountains, so the scenery looks as orange as Donald Trump's face. And we're on board with 5-time stock car champion Mary Baby Macklin, who's having the ride and time of her life. And why the time of her life? Well, Mary is a lifelong fan of the movie Dirty Dancing, and she's combined this bid for a 6th title with a pilgrimage to the very location where that cinematic masterpiece was shot. Riding shotgun is an effigy of the late great Patrick Swayze that Mary plans to leave behind as a memorial to the great man. But oh no! Mary's run has come to an end. But an impressive score of 34 seconds means no one will be putting Baby in the corner. On board now with Officer Landon O'Neill, who's traveling through the town of Brainerd, Minnesota. Another movie buff, Landon is not actually a police officer. He's just impersonating one in the hope he'll stumble across a corpse at the side of the road and be able to recreate his favorite scene from the movie and subsequent TV show, Fargo. It's a steady ride from O'Neill, and he's driving with the due care and attention you'd expect from an officer. But no, he's out for a respectable 24 seconds. A place on the podium beckons, but if the real police see him in that uniform, it'll be a place in jail coming his way. Next up, and there in the yellow taxi goes Big Bud Dexter. When Bud's not ferrying passengers to the airport, he's ferrying his big behind on the stock car circuit. Looking at the speed he's doing, there's a fare in that stock car, and that's a big no-no. It doesn't matter what score Bud gets, he's looking at a 10-second penalty. Bad news, Bud. You just got 16 seconds, 1 angry passenger, and a likely season-long ban. Philadelphia now, and the night stage. Here comes local hero Rocky Balbumper living up to his name. Just 6 seconds means this Italian stallion has thrown his last punch for today. Nebraska, fields as far as the eye can see, and we're traveling with Annie Opelheim. This local gal loves her home comforts, and when she's not driving stock cars, she's cooking up beautiful biscuits in her dashboard kitchen. I can smell a batch now, but that's distracted this lady, and she's off for a run of 17 seconds. Could have been worse, though. If she'd taken out that crowd of people, she'd have been looking at a 3-race ban. Well, thanks for joining us today, folks. I'm off to get my hands on Annie's biscuits. But our winner today is Dirty Dancing superfan Mary Baby Macklin, who really has had the time of her life. Join us again soon for more Stock Car Collisions. Coming up later on Car Crash TV, we'll show you some of the best bargains on forecourts around the country with the help of our wheeler dealers. That one's had a price reduction. And show you the worst drivers to put their foot on the accelerator in speeders. But first, priceless Renaissance Italian architecture here. But what happens next? It's a right dump. Welcome back to Car Crash TV. So what did happen next? Well, the driver of that truck decided to have a dump in the middle of the road. And frankly, no one was going to stop him. Next time, get to the services, mate. You can get cheesy quavers there, too. Car Crash TV often features important classical music news. Not all that often. Biting social commentary and satire. If you look hard enough. And a smorgasbord of cultural delights. At least I wish it did. But we know how to please our viewers and play to the crowd. So right now, we've got another lineup of fast lane lunatics for you as we shake our head in dismay at the smoke left behind by the speeders. There's only one thing worse than being late to work at the most sinister factory I've ever seen. And that's explaining why you drove straight into a delivery truck on the way in. Bored of speeding dangerously on your own side of the road? Why not try driving diagonally across the other lane as well? Always ends well. I'll have a C, please, Bob. What C is something that might well happen at this junction? Oh, for God's sake, setting a question with the answer car crash on a show called Car Crash TV? Uh-oh, larder alert. Look how the mischievous little scamp lures this car into thinking it's safe to proceed. There are some crafty larder drivers out there, I tell you. Another larder alert. But surely the innocuous white car parked at the side of the road can't cause any trouble in this delightful little suburb. I should know not to underestimate them. When the smell of a steak bake hits you, you've got to have one fast, whatever the cost. Grab me a jumbo sausage roll. I like living in a windowless shed, but when some idiot sailed into my breakfast room at 40 knots, it ruined my kippers. Once in a while, there's a crash so complicated, not even I can determine who to blame. I know, hard to believe, isn't it? I've won awards, you know. So that's why I feel compelled to crowdsource your expertise for this one. As together, we confront a fiendish crash scene investigation. Well, this one's a head-scratcher, and the setting sun isn't helping with our visibility. Looks like we have 3 potential suspects on this stretch of motorway, so let's run through them. A, the car facing the right way. B, the car facing the wrong way. Or C, the lorry to the right of the scene looking shifty. Time to go, friends. Let's sleuth. Okay, the speed limit up above says 110 kilometers an hour. And here comes car A exceeding that by quite a bit. This isn't the Autobahn, you know. That limit's been put in place for a reason. And look, now he's finding out why. Yes, a sudden need to brake has sent him into a spin and the central reservation. Visibility isn't great, so let's get closer. Yes, there's car B, who's been taken out as collateral damage, which makes the lorry the red herring and car A the guilty party. Case closed. No crazy speeding, people. The choice of vehicles on the road is dizzying. Hatchback, saloon, SUV, MPV, sports coupe, cabriolet, and those are just the hire cars I personally wrote off that summer I worked in that off-license in Luton. With all these different types of car populating forecourts worldwide, how do you know which vehicle is the right one for you? Well, we've enlisted the assistance of some of the finest wheeler dealers to help you make an informed purchase. So, you're looking for something British-made, strong, sturdy, and with a real sense of class on the road. What do you make of that then, pal? That's about as sturdy as they come. Yours for, say, 10k? All right, 5k. Cash only.
I see the Range Rover's caught your eye, mate. Isn't she a beauty? Why not take it for a test drive? Handles perfectly, great acceleration. And as for the brakes, yes, they're a touch sensitive, I'll give you that. I'll have Dave take a look before you collect. Cash or credit card?
Something speedy, you say? Well, you don't get much speedier than a Porsche. And the ladies, well, they love them. I guarantee they'll be queuing around the block to go for a ride with you.
Aye, a bit of superficial damage to the front, but that's not going to put the ladies off.
They're all about power, life in the fast lane and all that. We got a deal. I've heard that some dealers use high-end motors to launder cash from dodgy earnings, but I wouldn't get caught doing anything like that in Swansea. Look, throw in a couple of bags of those herbals and it's yours for $1,000. No need to bother with the paperwork. I've got just the motor for you, mate. It's a real classy affair. Plenty of grunt under the bonnet and plenty of refinement inside the cabin. And as for the handling, well, as you can see, it's pretty handy at getting you into a tight spot. You'd be robbing me blind if you offered 4K, sir.
This is a lovely motor, my friend. Nice and sleek and a lovely big bonnet to house all that power. What's that? The bonnet's too big.
Not a problem, my friend.
There you go. If anything, I think we've improved it. That's custom motors for you.
This is the executive model. Not the quickest, but what it lacks in speed it makes up for in all the latest high-tech features, including parking sensors. You can hear them now. They really are amazingly sensitive, so you'll be in no danger of damaging that lovely paintwork. Yours for $8,000, my friend. My final offer. The Romans drove their cars along straight roads that went on for miles without even a hint of a bend, unless a massive volcano erupted and buried everyone. But times have changed, and now we've got corners, junctions, crossroads, and zigzags for motorists to ignore, and they call that progress. Quality motorists like me take it in our stride, but for the riffraff, not being able to drive in a straight line means terrible turns. Hey, Mario, that's IKEA on the right. Quick, I need some bathroom storage options. Oh, no, it wasn't IKEA. Just some boring factory. Ignore what I said. No need to stop. I try to make sure I have chicken tikka masala at least once a day. And some drivers feel the same about making terrible turns. Look at this guy turning too late again. He's got previous. Get me a prawn tandoori while you're there. Ooh, look at that booty. No, not you, stupid driver. I was talking to the viewers. Hello, sir? Inappropriate and sexist? Oh, thank you, sir. We do try our best. 90% pay cut? Yes, sir. It will be removed immediately. Quite understand, sir. The slip road is a great invention, allowing you to safely and securely join the fast-flowing traffic or a dual carriageway or motorway without causing anything. Except a high-speed crash because you decide to pull an immediate U-turn, you irresponsible clown! And if there's one U-turn loser around, you can be sure there'll be another. If you were unlucky enough to be a passenger in that terrible taxi, make sure you give him 0 stars on that annoying app you go on about. Hello, larder alert. Run away, everyone. Do a U-turn. Head for the hills. Phew, that was a lucky escape. Magic. It comes in all shapes and sizes, from bouffanted prats dragging Siberian tigers onto a stage in Las Vegas, to mumbling miseries captivating gullible pedestrians on Brighton Beach. But there is magic out there on our roads too. You just have to know where to look for it. Fortunately, we've acquired the services of our very own car crash conjurer to guide you through this selection of mystical moments. The trick is a simple one. Will a crash come from the left or the right? All together now. Abracadabra.
Good evening, fair audience. Have you missed me? I am, of course, the great Car Crashini, and I've taken time out from my nearly sold-out residency at Morecambe Bay to be with you today. And for my first trick, I'm on the lookout for something big and dirty. No, not my former assistant, Renata. How dare she leave me and go and work with that total unscrupulous pretender and fraud, the incredible Car Smashini. So, is something big and dirty coming from the left or the right? Alakazam! It was the left. Renata, if you're watching, come back. When I offered you a pot noodle for our anniversary, I did it out of love. And for my next trick, I'd acquire a little bit of audience participation. First, pick your side, left or right, and now say the magic word, Takan! Yes, it was the left. And if you're looking for a place to dine tonight, I can highly recommend the King Prawn Tandoori at Takan. That'll be £10, please, and free poppadoms as usual. Release the dry ice. Yes, a bit of theatre to accompany my next illusion, whose origins are as ancient and mysterious as the pharaohs. My new assistant, Helmut, is about to appear as if from the ether, but will he join me from the left or the right? Alakazam, it was the right. Renata, take me back. Without you, the magic is gone. And for my final trick, I'd acquire a red larder. Larder alert. A tractor and a pickup truck. No sign of the pickup truck. I guess it's going to appear from the left or the right then. But which direction? Choose wisely. Abracadabra! It was the left. I have been the great Car Crashini, and you've been a much better audience than those coachloads of old ladies in Morecambe. Please don't make me go back.
I consider myself to be one of the most considerate drivers on the road. As one of the leading road health and safety experts, I always offer calm reassurance. That was a horrible skid. He's gonna smash that one up. My hands are always at 10 to 2 on the steering wheel, my speed is always perfectly matched to the limit, and my lane discipline is impeccable. Everyone should follow my lead and be a paragon of safe and sensible driving. But I'm sad to report that my efforts have been in vain, as you'll see from these outrageous road hogs. Outside their Hereford base, members of the SAS regularly practice driving a big armored minibus as aggressively as possible. Slow it down, lads. Who dares wins might work in a war zone. On a bypass near Tesco, it's downright dangerous. If you can't afford Formula One cars in Monaco, race something like a Nissan Micra in Hull. Or, in fact, any of those annoying little yellow cars sixth formers drive. But don't try racing yellow vans. They haven't got those F1 ceramic braking systems, you see. Most roads only have 2 lanes upon which to drive. That is until both those lanes are occupied by lunatics driving towards you. Then you have 2 options, a head-on collision or a little bit of impromptu off-roading. Our friend chose wisely. How do you know if you're going to fall foul of a road hog? Find a set of traffic lights, make sure yours are on green, and then proceed. If you smash into someone, you found a road hog. Keep them off the streets. Well played. Beautiful rides along a country road are a motorcyclist's happiest day. That is if you don't almost die and end up filling your leathers with some countryside smells of your own. Road hogs are so called on account of their piggish behaviour. But what exactly is piggish behaviour? Could this reckless piece of driving from the lorry be deemed so? Well, the arrival of the police is all the confirmation I need, viewers. Road hogs are renowned for their pig-headedness. So, in a head-to-head situation, rather than calmly backing up to allow their fellow driver through, it's simply pedal to the metal. It's a false economy, though. That's going to seriously degrade the rubber on his tyres. And as my good friend, Madam Whiplash, always tells me, good rubber doesn't come cheap.